Because if we found out the Ark of the Covenant was in fact a real object and we know where it is and it does match the description in the Bible, that kind of changes everything. In Ethiopia, there's a specific church in Ethiopia that has always been rumored to be the place where the Ark of the Covenant is stored. And there's these guarders of these people that are guards of this area, and they all develop cataracts. They all have like radiation poisoning, and they're guarding this one particular area. They won't let anybody look at it. They won't let anybody talk about it. And Graham got fascinated by this. And they started doing a deep dive into history and historical accounts of the covenant and the ark and all these bizarre stories that have lasted throughout history. And the real evidence that there was really sophisticated societies that lived thousands and thousands of years ago, when we kind of assumed that people were hunters and gatherers. You know, Egypt is a great example of that. Like, whatever they were doing there was fucking insane.
Right.
I mean, the structures that they made, still today, we look at them and we go, what the hell were you guys doing?
Like, yeah, how was this made? Yeah.
And he believes that society had reached a very, very sophisticated level of technological achievement, and then something happened. And now we're living in like a rebuild. Even though we're very sophisticated, you know, in terms of technology, our technology's gone in a completely different direction than theirs did.
And where did Graham ever, in his conclusion, in some of that about the covenant, did he ever think that it's still there?
They think it's still there, yeah.
So some people thought it might have burned up in Jerusalem, I think it was.
See if you can find where that is, Jamie. It's supposed to be in some church in Ethiopia. Oh, Jamie's already got it. So,
I just had watched something on that because I'm intrigued by all that kind of stuff.
well, you know, when you really start digging deep into it, it's very fascinating. This one particular place has been protected for so long, and all these people that have supposedly seen it describe something that's, you know, Trump apparently has like a model of the Ark of the Covenant at Mar-a-Lago.
No way.
Yeah, see if you can find that. Yeah, he's got like a recreation of the Ark of the Covenant in Mar-a-Lago.
And that whole covenant was pretty cool based on how, you know, God had said, look, it, you know, had an intervention saying this is how big it's got to be. And it was built out of a certain wood, inside and out, gold, the handles, everything was there to hold the commandments. And then but then I saw something to where, I don't know if Jamie and Mike could probably pull it up, but to where some people speculate it could be under the Catholic Church. I heard that.
Like in the Vatican or something?
In the Vatican, yeah. And
they
then
got a lot of shit in the Vatican.
Oh my goodness!
Have you ever been there?
No, I haven't. But I heard you talk about you went
Yeah.
and had the guide and said it was amazing.
It's incredible. They have so much. They have billions of dollars in art. Like, where'd you guys steal all this from? It's back in the Roman days. Look at this. This is Trump's replica of the Ark of the Covenant at Mar-a-Lago.
That's just like,
pretty fucking wild.
and it's almost exactly the replica of what it's assumed to have been looked like. You know.
Well, I mean, it's. I think that's a recreation based on biblical accounts.
Absolutely.
Very strange.
Well, maybe Trump can take us and show it to us, man. That'd be cool.
What did you say, Jamie?
I was trying to figure out if, I mean, clearly it was there. It might have just been there temporarily. It looks like that might be like on display in Israel or something. I don't know.
So it's a replica that travels around. Is that what it is?
I
And
got
it
you.
temporarily is at Mar-a-Lago?
I can't find like that it lives there, but there's definitely obviously people with pictures of it.
Bro, if I had Trump money, I'd have one built. Like, make me
Oh,
another
why
one of
not?
these. Come on.
I would too. I would too.
It's a cool thing to have on display. I mean, I wonder what it was. I mean, if these guys really are guarding it in Ethiopia, like, what is the radiation from? Like, why do they all get developing cataracts and radiation sickness? The sign of the seal, was that about Ethiopia and
the Ark of the Covenant?
Yeah. What's your take on all that?
It's interesting. Anytime they won't let you see the evidence, I get like all of my alarm bells go off, right?
Right.
It's like, but I understand why they wouldn't want you to see it if it really is the Ark. I'd like to see, I guess the best thing we could do to test it without seeing the Ark would be to look into the claims that these guys go blind and they show signs of radiation.
Yeah, let's explain to everybody what the claim that they believe that this one church in Ethiopia actually possesses the Ark of the Covenant, and that these priests that are supposedly guarding this, they all exhibit signs of radiation poisoning.
Yes, they all just exhibit signs of radiation poisoning. They go blind, they die quickly, and then somebody else, and one priest at a time, is allowed to be like the caretaker of the Ark. And
How long do they live?
they want to say like a couple years, something like that. I can't remember.
Really?
It's been not very long. Yeah. They die pretty quick.
Imagine that job.
I
Well,
was not
something that
disappointed.
has that much radiation that kills people so quickly, wouldn't that be something that you could measure from outside of the church?
You'd think that our boys would be all over that with the satellites and be like, yeah, that's a spot to watch out
Right.
for. Send a team.
Right. If we have this capability, supposedly, to scan for gamma radiation from the sky, why wouldn't someone fly over that church and go, yo, there's a crazy hot spot here?
You would think probably somebody has. If not, like I was saying with the satellites. In all honesty, the feds monitor that kind of like heavily, and so I mean, if it's possible that it wouldn't be any kind of weapons grady stuff, so they might just not be looking for that particularly.
Can they monitor for gamma radiation from satellites? Can
I'm
they
not
do that?
sure. I know that they can look for. I know they can look for. I'm not sure how they detect it. I'm not sure what they use to detect it, but I know that they can look for radioactive material from space.
So the thought is that if this Ark of the Covenant is there, and whatever it is somehow radioactive, is there any sort of theory as to how they develop some sort of radioactive thing? Like what is it supposed to be? I mean, it's not a reactor. It's in a box, right? Like what is it?
Well, the theory that a lot of people have is that it's a weapon that, like in the Bible, it's described like shooting lightning and things like that.
Right.
And what Graham mentions in the book, it's an interesting point, is the Bible records Moses going up to Mount Sinai, coming down with the Ten Commandments, getting mad at the Israelites worshiping a golden calf, and he breaks the Ten Commandments and then goes back up the mountain and comes back down after another week or so with the Ten Commandments again. And Graham points out that this could be a memory of him going up and getting the wrong stone, and then, damn it, smashes it, goes back and finds the right stone that he's looking for, that it had the proper, uranium rich or whatever speculative radiation stuff. So, but inside of the box, the popular theory is, you got metal, wood, metal, like a transformer. And so the popular theory is it's a way to generate electricity, and it would also describe like the way that guys in the Bible are, if they touch it, they have to carry it with sticks, and if they touch it even to steady it, they get killed and stuff. But I honestly, I don't see it being a transformer. That wood metal or metal wood metal thing has to be stacked. You're not just getting it with one layer like the Bible describes. But it's an interesting thing.
When you say it has to be stacked, you mean spaced in between each layer?
Yeah, like if you've ever seen a doorbell transformer.
No.
Okay, transformers at the bottom of it will have multiple plates. It'll be like a plate of metal and then a plate of silicone or something like that that's conductive, non-conductive, conductive, non-conductive, and there'll be multiples of those. And this is part of the electromagnetic changing of the because what a transformer does is it steps electricity up or down and swaps voltage for amperage, basically. So the metal plates are part of it. So the idea is that this thing would collect electricity inside the box, and then the Israelites would use it to throw lightning at the enemies. Now, there's still a lot of speculation as to how the box would work, but Moses was also said to, after going up and seeing God, he was said to have had to cover his face with a cloth for the rest of his life because it was shown. And Graham speculated in that book that it might be because of radiation sickness or something. His face was covered in sores for the rest of his life. So it is interesting.
So if this thing is radioactive, like how would that conduct electricity?
No idea. It would probably be if it was it. Maybe it's the power source, like we have radioactive batteries on satellites and they convert that radiation into electricity. So it's possible. I mean, I'm not really too big on the ancient high technology, but I'm always willing to speculate and look at the angles on it, and that's basically where they come from, on the guys that are really big into the arc. Some guys even will claim that it's a capacitor, like full on capacitor, which a capacitor stores and discharges electricity. It's why we were told not to when you don't touch the tube on your TV when we were kids,
right?
Because it'll zap you. The capacitor.
We're old.
Yes.
We remember tubes on TVs.
Yeah, that's what a capacitor is. So some guys believe, like Billy Carson would say, that the Ark of the Covenant would fit inside of the sarcophagus of the King's Chamber, which it doesn't, and that it's a capacitor to power the pyramid.
So it doesn't. How do you know that it doesn't?
But the Bible has the specifications for the size of the Ark of the Covenant, and they're not the same as the
How different are they?
considerably.
Is it larger or smaller?
The Ark is larger.
Oh, it's
Quite
larger
a bit
than.
larger.
Oh, really?
Well, than the inside of the sarcophagus.
Have you ever seen the one that Donald Trump has at Mar-a-Lago?
No.
He has a recreation of the Ark of the Covenant at Mar-a-Lago.
No.
Yeah. It doesn't look bigger than the.
Really?
The reason why I said it is it doesn't look bigger than the sarcophagus. Maybe I need to look at it again.
And there's a possibility that I'm wrong there, but I know that the measurements are off by enough that it was like this isn't just a little mix and match. It's way off.
I feel like we should have a recreation of the Ark of the Covenant here. But if that's real, and these guys are just guarding it and dying of radiation poison, like, hey, get some better leadership and let the world know. I mean, if you really want people to believe in God and the Bible, what better way than to say, not only is the Ark of the Covenant real, but we have it here at this church in Ethiopia, and we've been suffering for the past X hundred years.
And then they have an ancient church, the Church of St. Mary, a cathedral actually of St. Mary of Zion, where the Ark apparently was kept for hundreds and hundreds of years. Before that it was kept elsewhere, and then now it's been moved into a chapel that stands next to St. Mary of Zion Cathedral. And that chapel is guarded by armed men. The whole town is an armed camp that is protecting what they believe to be the Ark of the Covenant, but it's guarded particularly by one guy who is the official guardian of the Ark, and he's elected by other monks to be the guardian of the Ark, and several of them have run away when they get that election, because once you're elected as the guardian of the Ark, when the previous one has died, you're going to be kept in that chapel forever. You'll never be allowed to leave it. So they're close to whatever this object is. They're close to it. And I met 3 of them over a succession of years, because their mortality is once they're appointed, they die very soon. And they all had these cataracts over their eyes, and they all blamed the object in that chapel, whether or not it's the Ark, for causing their blindness.
Wow.
So it's
And no one is going in there and trying to get to the bottom of it? They won't let you?
They won't let you. They won't let you. And
Can you bribe them?
No.
It seems like someone should go look.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Yeah.
What's in there? I mean, if we really find out the Ark of the Covenant was an actual object,
I think it was an actual object.
and you think it was some nuclear something or another, like
I don't know what
do you
it
think
was. I think it's what is rightly described as an out-of-place artifact, because if you look at the description in the book of Exodus, the very precise dimensions of it, I think in modern terms we'd say 3 feet 9 inches long by 2 feet 3 inches high and wide. It's got a layer of gold, it's got a layer of wood, it's got another layer of gold. It's very precisely specified, like a blueprint in the book of Exodus. And then it does all this stuff. It shoots out jets of fire and kills completely innocent people. It kills 50,000 Philistines in the city of Ashdod when they briefly capture it from the Israelites and make the mistake of treating it like a tourist object, and they open the Ark of the Covenant and look inside, and suddenly everybody in that city is dying, and what they're dying of is cancerous tumors. This is described in the Old Testament. So it's intriguing that this object is so precisely specified and is reported to have done these terrible things.
It's just insane that we know where it is.
Well, we know that I believe Ethiopia has a very strong claim to it, but that's all I can say, because I've not seen it myself. I've been right outside the door of that sanctuary chapel several times. But
Did you bring a Geiger counter?
No. That would be a good thought.
Yeah. Imagine it was going nuts as you got close.
That would be a good thought.
I mean, it's not like it's going to be, if it's radioactive, it's not like it's going to be contained just this one small area. You're going to have traces of it that leak out.
That's true. It would be a good way
especially if people are getting cataracts from being in the room with it.
Yeah.
And so 3 different people you talk to have cataracts from that.
Yeah, and they all blame the Ark. And one of them, it's a resonant phrase, which sticks in my memory. I asked him why, and he said the Ark is a thing of fire. Just that.
Did he describe it to you?
He did describe it as a box, rather like the biblical description, unsurprisingly. But
did he describe what it looked like the outside of it?
Gold.
Gold.
Mm-hmm. Gold.
Wow.
And of course, gold is a very good insulator. against radiation. I don't want to go too far down this track. To me, the
Too speculative.
The fascinating thing is that Ethiopia is the only country in the world that actually claims to have the Ark of the Covenant. That it's central to religion and culture in Ethiopia today. That there's much to support that argument, particularly in the form of the Falashas, the Ethiopian Jews, and their very ancient traditions about how they got to Ethiopia in the first place. In context of all of that, I think Ethiopia has a very good claim, very interesting claim, and that's why I wrote a book about it.
That one to me is just like, we know where it is.
Yeah.
That one to me is so crazy that someone is keeping that information from the rest of the humans.
Yeah.
Because if we found out the Ark of the Covenant was, in fact, a real object, and we know where it is, and it does match the description in the Bible, that kind of changes everything. Now, all of a sudden, the Bible is not just stories and myths. The Bible is some sort of a historical record.
Yeah. Well, let's not forget that one of the world's best-known flood myths also comes from the Bible, which is the flood of Noah, which, again, is part of this worldwide tradition, of which I am absolutely convinced Atlantis should be understood as a part of that worldwide tradition of a global flood and the loss of a former civilization. And again, it's one of the reasons why I've done the work I've done over these years.
So when you're doing season 2, what did you learn from doing season 1 that you applied to season 2? Was there anything different about the way you went about it?
Definitely. I have learned from the criticisms of archaeologists, and one of the first things that became very clear to me, and they're absolutely right, is we need more indigenous voices in this series. And that's what we've made sure to do. We have an amazing indigenous archaeologist from Easter Island. We spent quite a bit of time filming in Easter Island, and it's a strong... This series doesn't do country-by-country episodes. It's all merged together. Different bits of the story come together in each episode, but a good chunk of it is on Easter Island, and there Sonia Hoa Cardinali is an indigenous Easter Islander. Her married name is Cardinali because she married an Italian guy, and she gave us incredible material on Easter Island, and she revealed that she and her team have found what are called banana phytoliths. Now, phytoliths are a minute part of the banana plant. They've excavated them from a crater in Easter Island, and they've found that those are 3,000 years old. Now, this is interesting for two reasons. Firstly, bananas do not propagate naturally. You can't get bananas to Easter Island without human beings bringing them there. That's how they got there. And secondly, the date that she's found 3,000-year-old banana phytoliths in Easter Island blows out of the water the notion that Easter Island was only settled 1,000 years ago or less, which is the current idea of archaeology. Again and again, we've had indigenous guests on the show who have brought real important information to it. Amongst those geoglyphs in Brazil, we had a member of the Apurina people who is a caretaker for those geoglyphs, and he talked to us about what is special to him about the geoglyphs, about how this is a sacred place to his tribe, and how they still gather there today, and how they understand that it's somehow connected to the journey to the next world, to the journey of life after death. And that then rings a bell in my mind of that whole idea of a journey to the afterlife and a portal through which we pass into that other realm. We find that right there in Brazil.
So if the Easter Island, if the island was settled at least 3,000 years ago, do we know where from?
Well, 3,000 years ago, you're still within the period of the Polynesian expansion. This is not the Ice Age. This is more recent.
Right.
It's early in the Polynesian expansion rather than late.
If you enjoyed today's episode on JRE Plus, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you.